Hello, Todd Clemens, Okeechobee Livestock Market, and here's your weekly market report. Low volume, 700 and some odd plus Monday and 800 Tuesday. Not many cattle coming in right now. Whatever cows anybody had certainly have already come to town as high as these cow prices are. And once again, the cows were high. They backed off a little bit last week, but they were back up there at it this week with cows selling over $1. Some really good cows. So prices are holding up in spite of everything else that's going on in the world. I guess a lot of people stayed up and watched the State of the Union last night. The president gave, and it was on late, and he went on and on and on late, and just like most of them do, they promise and promise and promise. I didn't see much in there that sounded any different than anybody else. To me, it's all politics. Sorry. And then Ukraine and Russia and all that. It's just kind of depressing to listen to the news, and the only good thing we can see out of it is that the world really has kind of gathered around Ukraine, because they've been bullied around and they got them stuck over in a corner now, and they're going to fight their way out. It's going to be like the Alamo. It's going to be the last man standing, it looks like to me. And it's just sad to sit here and in our country with all the resources and everything we have, and we just sit over here on our hands, and there's nothing we can do because you got Putin and those crazy people over there with their finger on the red button, and we've got what we got. And I mean, before you know it, we'll be in a nuclear war, so we're kind of stuck. And those NATO countries right there behind Ukraine, hopefully and it looks like that they're getting huge support. NATO is going to be there. We're going to be there. By gosh, do not come across that line, that west line of Ukraine, or you're going to have, what to pay. So it's going to come down to it. And I tell you, all this stuff has really got this cattle market messed up. Oil prices are sky high, and I heard a few commentators, all you got to do is pull the plug on the oil and Putin will go away. You didn't see anything out of them when oil was bringing $20 or $30 a barrel. They didn't have any resources, no funds. When we were drilling and we had oil going everywhere and fracking, trucks running up and down the road carrying oil all over the country and going up to the gas tank buying that $2 diesel, and people just blowing and going, everything was good. You didn't hear not one peep out of Russia. And now when you got oil up over $100 a barrel, I mean, my gosh, he's just raking it in, and that's what this thing is all about. It's all about Ukraine and their resources. They've got oil, and they're big in agriculture too. They grow a lot of wheat and corn and a lot of different things there in Ukraine. They're big ag country, plus they're sitting on huge oil reservoirs. So we all know what Putin's after right there. So pull the plug on that stuff. I mean, don't buy oil. I mean, today on the news we saw where several countries were not taking any more shipments of oil from Russia. Germany was one of them, and France was another one. I don't know the rest of them, but there were some big ones in there. I didn't hear United States named in that. So, why are we still taking oil from Russia, really? So I don't get it. Anyway, it's a sad time for that, and here in the cattle business, and that's what we do here in South Florida. That's what we do at Okeechobee Livestock Market. We sell your cattle. It's a very volatile market. Even though fat cattle are still selling pretty good, but you watch and see what the packers are going to do because of these. Your grains are just, I mean, it's crazy. Corn's over $7 a bushel. Cost of gain's going to be close to $1.25 or $1.30 before it's all over with. And packer margins have come down to $300 a head. They're only making $300 a head. Poor packer. But this is grilling season. It's right in front of us, and keep an eye on this. Your box beef prices have bottomed out, but they're going to come back full force. And right now, the market-ready cattle coming out of feedlots is as low as it has been in 5 or 6 years. Market-ready cattle are there. There are not many of them. But this summer, there's going to be a lot of them because the grain was so high. People didn't put cattle in cattle didn't go to the feedlot because the grain was high. But in the grazing parts of the world where there was no moisture, no rain, no grass, they had no choice but to put cattle in the feedlot at these high costs of gain. So those cattle were placed in feedlots early. They should have been out on grazing and grass, and they wouldn't have come off of that until somewhere around April, or maybe the first or second week of May. Those cattle are already in a feedlot. They're going to be coming out probably fall of next year, maybe they're around before wintertime of 2022. But right now is a very, very low market ready cattle, and prices should be higher than what they are. They're inching up, and I think last week the average price was $1.43. In the futures, February went off the board. In April, the front month of your fat cattle futures board there, April, was trading at under $1.40, which is a discount to cash, which is ridiculous, because the board is for futures, to see what cattle are worth in the future so that you can hedge your position. If you're buying cattle, the purpose of the whole thing is so that you can buy cattle and use the board to hedge your cattle against the board to use as risk management, so that you're not risking the whole thing. You can lock them in at a profit. So when the board's below cash price, it's a very rare occasion, which shows you that, these algorithms and these big corporate deals that are coming out of the Dow Jones, coming out of the stock market, because that thing's tanking, they're taking their money and putting it in commodities, and it's just got it all out of whack. This is a very volatile time we're in right now, so pay attention. Thankfully, on one hand, all our calves down here are little now. We're waiting for them to get bigger, and they won't be ready to market until this spring, April, May, or June, so we've got a little bit of time. But you might want to start looking at some risk management plans and protections. Insurance companies now, like Rain and Hail, and some of the other ones around, there's several of them around, Farm Credit, offer these kind of risk management protection plans. You may want to check into that. I don't know. I don't do it. It seems like to me it costs too much, but maybe it's worth it. I haven't checked into it that much. But anyway, all in all, we're blessed to live where we live and have the things we have, the resources. God has blessed this country, and I hope that we just do the right thing and don't turn our back on our neighbors, and we need to be neighbors. High prices for the week are, on the calf side, Likes Brothers had a 220-pound calf that brought $2.42.50. $2.42.50. And on the cow side, on the slaughter cow side, Milk and R, right up the road, Milk and R Dairy there with Sutton and his family, had a 1,615-pound cow that brought $1.07, bought by Florida Beef. That's your market report. Thank you.